okay? One of the things I've been teaching with tackling is trying to teach kids how to dip and strike without actually having to run their feet, just to learn that skill, okay? That's a good thing to do that on, okay? Like I said, on this one, we'll put a sheet here. We can raise it, lower it as they extend out, okay? They can run out of here, they can sprint out of here. You can use that in front of all the sleds, okay? Anybody got any questions about any of these things? What I would do is your big work day, or try to use one thing a day, you know what I mean? Or try to figure it out. Bernie, I don't know if we want to talk. We haven't really experimented with this one yet, but it's a tackling, it's a true tackling sled type thing where you pull. You got to attach these. We're not going to do it.
A 50-pound dummy and an 80-pound dummy. I think the red's the 50, the blue's the 80.
You walk it back and you send it on the kid. Forget this obviously won't be here, okay? But the kid stays here. It comes at them, and they got to tackle a moving. I think
this is adjustable too.
Right. I think it's a good. We probably ought to keep this right here and just kind of do that as much as possible. This is a good. I have not used that very much. Certainly used it, you know, when I was playing. I think it's a good thing to use for your kids. Again, in all the tackling things, don't get it please don't have a mismatch and embarrass the kid by the pad kicking his butt. You know what I mean? So
this is going to take the place of the live action that they've taken away from us, since we're only allowed to hit an hour and 45 minutes. So instead of teaching kids how to live hit with other kids and taking that out of your time, now we use this, and now that gives you more time to do what you have to do when you want to go live.
Okay. Any questions on any of this stuff?
I said real quick though.
Yeah, sure.
Hey, but just think about, you know, obviously you can come straight on and hit this, or you can come at an angle. You know, so your coach let that, you know, he slides it, and we just talk about an angle block, like using the sideline. So you come right across it, here it comes, wrap, get your head across that, drive your legs and get it out of bounds. All right, and the same thing with stock blocking. You're wide out, you line right up on it, let it go. You can do it at an angle. So if that's the ball in here, we slide that, your wide out has to come over, get position, attack that, and push it right out. So there's a bunch of variations that you can use on this stuff too. I mean, like Sid said, we're going to give you some specific drills on most of this stuff, but you know, some of the other stuff, just Google it. You know what I mean? And just throw that in on YouTube and you'll get it.
I have a DVD. I think I got to try and burn it. I don't know if they'll let me burn it.
It's fine. What I would tell you guys is go home tonight if you're the line coach. Think about all these things, the D-line, O-line. The kids are going to love it. They love working with this stuff, okay? And really, you know, when you pair it up with somebody and you, what's the acronym for your guys that are NPR? What is it?
MPR.
What's that mean? Mandatory play requirement? Okay.
You'll get it next year.
No, I probably have. I have a few of those myself. But you didn't hear that. All right?
None of us did.
Yeah. Okay. Figure out what you're going to use. If you're going to tackle and do that, have it set up. Have one coach do it all the time if you're going to do a tackling circuit or whatever, any of those things, okay? Any questions on our gadgets and gear and all that stuff? Okay. What I was going to do first is I was going to focus on tackling and then kick it over to the offensive drills, and then we'll finish up with the defensive drills, okay? Most of you guys, how many of you guys haven't heard me talk about tackling? So everybody's heard it, for the most part. It hasn't changed. None of it's changed. I would say this, our game is changing so that if we keep getting kids concussed, our game won't be around anymore. So we got to figure out how to teach this, okay? Like I said with those NPRs or whatever they are, there are some kids that really don't want to tackle, okay? And they'll be concussed no matter what we do, okay? However, that's not how we're going to approach things, okay? We're going to teach them. I think this all the time. 90% of kids aren't real trained, aggressive tacklers. They're not. You have to teach them the techniques of doing it, okay? You can teach them in parts, okay? And ultimately, the goal is to have your team good tacklers and keep them safe, okay? Any questions on that? That's pretty obvious, okay? However, you don't want to make them so that they don't tackle, okay? Or they're bad tacklers. So you got to find that right balance of how to do it. Like I told you before, if you've heard me, we don't live tackle in practice very much, okay? We really don't. We will expect them to thud up, and actually our tempo with that got better last year. We expected our guys to hit and carry the plays out. I mean, you know, and this is generally what happens if you don't tackle well, because another guy is more athletic. People will say, this is the common thing, we don't tackle enough, we got to go live more. That's what everybody says. Okay, then you get more kids hurt, more concussed, and then you're in the same problem you were at the beginning. Okay, so you've got to find that fine line. I've given you a sheet, the same words I've used 100 times. Okay, dip and strike. All right, come here, Sean, Derek. He's got Sean, his brother. All right, I've used it 1,000,000 times. Dip and strike. Kids cannot run up and just tackle. Okay, they have to be able to bend their knees, flex their ankles, and they've got to dip before they tackle somebody. A lot of guys have used the term step on their toes. That's a common thing. Get as close as you can. I start out in a progression now where I'll have the kids with a pad, okay, or that's one, fine, that's fine. But have the kid getting tackled. Teach them how to get tackled in a teaching drill. Don't put your best running back who is good at breaking tackles against your worst corner when you're trying to teach them, okay? But dip and strike, I actually start them. Some kids, my most flexible ones, the ones that work out and stretch, I start them in a full-on dip, okay? And they're down here trying to keep their heels on the ground, and sometimes I have a flat shield, and they'll just straight out explode up on the kid, okay? Say these words, hit with the top of your shoulder pads, okay? That's the way to say it, okay? All of us were taught to hit the guy right in the chest with our hairline, right? That's not being taught anymore, okay? I tell them, this is what I use to talk about their head. Your head and your face is gonna get involved, okay? We don't want you to do that, all right? We don't want you to lead with your head. We don't want you to hit with your head. The first thing that's gonna hit is the top of the shoulders, okay? And you're gonna do that. So that's dip and strike. And strike is a violent strike. Go get them, okay? Knock them back. That's what you have to tell them, okay? Dip and strike, we all set on that? Okay, so you can do it a number of different ways. You can start with that squat like I did. You can have them run up on them as long as they break down and dip, okay? Some kids, when they get in that dip position, they have a tough time if you have them keep their feet balanced, okay? If they need a staggered stance to do that, fine. Realistically, in football, in all football games, if you get one perfect form tackle, that's a lot, okay? Do you know what I'm saying? So those are the guidelines to teach them. Another thing that isn't technique with tackling, it's more of a culture on your team, is if your team hustles and you demand that your kids run to the ball, you'll be a way better tackling team. Trust me, okay? These guys know what happens when what's the word when I catch you not running to the ball? Starts with an L.
Loaf.
Loafing. They don't like being called out on a loaf, okay? That's a much more effective way to teach tackling than screaming at some kid who's not aggressive, okay? Make them run to the ball. Okay, so we've dipped and striked, okay? We're gonna, after we've dipped and striked, okay, our head is gonna, I think I have on there, bite the ball, you've heard that one. Try to keep the head, have it slide off to one side or the other, okay? Make sure they don't lower their head, okay? Try to keep their chest up, okay? Grab cloth. We tell them to grab cloth on the back of the shoulder blades and try to grab as hard as they can, okay, and pull them. Now, this is a bad example. I should be down here with him, okay? And then the last thing, fellas, and here's just a simple way to do this drill. After you did dip and strike, okay, the guy holding the bag should kind of pop up, okay? You got that? All right? If you're doing grab cloth, tell the ball carrier to spin a little bit. So we start out a drill where we're in this way and just spin with either. I got to be able to move my feet, and if I'm not grabbing him tight, he'll slip right off, okay? Happens all the time, okay? Then the most important thing is accelerate your feet on contact, okay? Just say accelerate your feet. And this is what you tell them. A lot of tacklers, they want to come, when I say step, the first thing I said, step on their toes or get close to them. How many of you said don't lunge when you tackle? You guys have said that probably, right? That's the kid that comes up and he's not close enough, so he's way out off balance and he's got to stay low and he has no hips behind him when he goes to tackle the guy, okay? We got that? Okay, so get them close to each other, okay, when they're doing those drills, or if you have them running or coming off a block. I mean, I think all these drills we could teach you. Say I was working on shedding a cut block here. Boom, I shed a cut block. I can always finish it up with a good tackle where I have to get up close to him and dip and strike, grab cloth, bite the ball, and accelerate my feet, okay? Those are the things we'll say. Okay? Any questions there on that? Those are the basics. Those are the words I've used for 100 years. Okay? I'm going to keep using them. All right? And you